Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're pulling back the curtain on something absolutely incredible. A high-stakes performance that's happening inside your body at this very moment. It's this constant, microscopic balancing act that literally keeps you alive and well. And to get our heads around it, we gotta start with a really big but really important question.
So let me ask you this. Just think about everything your body is doing right now. Breathing, thinking, moving, all of it. What do you think is its single most important job? It's a huge question, I know, but the answer is actually kind of simple, and it's the foundation for everything else.
And that answer is homeostasis. Now, it's a bit of a sciencey word, but all it really means is keeping everything in perfect internal balance. Your body is working, 24/7 to keep everything from your temperature to your fluid levels to your blood chemistry right in this very narrow, very specific comfort zone. It's the ultimate state of equilibrium. So the question is, how on earth does it manage that?
Well, it does it with hormones. These things are the real unsung heroes of our internal world. You can think of them as these tiny little chemical messengers. They're produced by glands, they travel all through your bloodstream, and they carry super specific instructions to exactly the right parts of your body. They're the managers, the regulators, they're running the whole show.
Okay, so let's look at a classic example of what happens when this balancing act goes, well, a little haywire. We're going to talk about blood sugar and the condition that happens when the body just loses its grip on controlling it, diabetes.
But when we say diabetes, it's not just one single thing. With type 1, the problem is all about production. The body has an absolute deficiency of insulin. It just can't make the stuff. Now with type 2, the body is making insulin, but its cells have become resistant. The messenger is there, shouting the instructions, but nobody's listening to the message.
But no matter which type it is, the end result is the same: hyperglycemia. It's a simple name for a really dangerous situation. Way too much sugar, or glucose, floating around in the blood. This is the central imbalance, the problem that medicine has to solve to get the body back to that happy state of homeostasis.
And the good news is, science has developed this absolutely incredible toolkit to do just that. So let's dive in and look at some of the brilliant ways we can help the body get its sugar levels back where they belong.
Okay, here's a really cool trick, a little inside baseball that medical folks use. You can often figure out what a drug does just by looking at its name. Seriously. For instance, any drug ending in gliptin is in one family. Any drug ending in glyphosine is in a totally different one. It's a simple, super powerful memory aid that's just hidden in plain sight.
And believe me, this toolkit is huge. The naming pattern keeps going. You've got suffixes like glyninide or prefixes like gly. And then you have the big one, probably the most common of all, a class all by itself, the big one-eyed metformin.
And for people who need to take insulin directly, science has created this whole spectrum, tailored for different needs. It starts with rapid-acting insulin, for right around mealtimes. Then you have short-acting ones, and here's a little cheat code. Look for the R for regular in the name. Then we move on to intermediate and finally long-acting insulins, like Lantus and Levemir. See the L for long? It's all about giving the body that hormonal support at exactly the right time.
All right, so if insulin is all about managing the body's fuel, what manages its engine speed? For that, we've got to look at the thyroid gland. This little guy is the master regulator of our entire metabolism.
The key hormone here is called thyroxine, or T4. And here's a fantastic little memory trick to remember where it comes from. It's made from an amino acid called tyrosine. So just say it to yourself. Tyrosine, thyroxine, tyrosine, thyroxine. The connection is literally right there in the sound of the word.
So if the thyroid controls your metabolic engine, what happens when it breaks down? Well, with hyperthyroidism, you get a hypersecretion of the hormone. The engine is just revving way, way too fast. The body's in total overdrive. On the flip side, with hypothyroidism, you get a decrease in function. The engine slows right down to a crawl, and the whole body just feels sluggish.
A really common cause of that engine too fast problem, hyperthyroidism, is an autoimmune condition called Graves' disease. It makes the thyroid swell up, which is known as a goiter. But it has another symptom that's, well, it's much more striking.
And that sign is a condition called exophthalmos. It's a visible protrusion of the eyeballs from their sockets. It's truly one of the most distinct and unforgettable signs in all of medicine, and it's a direct result of the hormonal chaos that Graves' disease kicks off.
And just like with diabetes, we have a fantastic toolkit for retuning that thyroid engine. If it's running too fast, that's hyperthyroidism, we use drugs like methimazole to slow it down. If it's too slow, hypothyroidism, we give patients replacement thyroid hormone, usually levothyroxine, to speed that engine right back up to normal.
So we've seen how hormones control our fuel and our engine speed. But honestly, that's just scratching the surface.
These chemical messengers are the master regulators of pretty much every single process in the body, from how we handle stress all the way to how we grow.
For example, our adrenal hormones are in charge of how we handle stress, and when those messengers stop working right, it can lead to something called Addison's disease, which causes really profound muscle weakness and weight loss.
Or just think about growth hormone. I mean, the name pretty much says it all, but the results of an imbalance are just staggering. Not enough of it during childhood can lead to dwarfism. Too much, and it can cause gigantism. It's one hormone, but with two completely opposite, life-altering outcomes.
And the list just goes on and on. It's melatonin that manages your sleep. It's oxytocin that's absolutely vital for childbirth. Vasopressin fine-tunes your body's water balance. Even that super primal fight-or-flight response? Yep, that's triggered by hormones called catecholamines. From sleep to stress, birth to blood pressure, everywhere you look, hormones are the ones pulling the levers.
So when you really step back and look at the big picture, the conclusion is it's undeniable. Our health is defined by this incredibly delicate dance of hormones. We've gotten really good at fixing the balance when it goes wrong, but it leaves us with one last fascinating question. What's the next frontier in understanding and maybe even mastering this hidden system that runs our entire lives? Thanks for watching.